Mate, what have you been speaking about the most lately? So what's the narrative that is going through your mind the last, let's call it, 90 days? So I'll frame it in such a way, like I'll generally have, like for me right now, the narrative that I'm, I guess, speaking and preaching on to the marketplace and to businesses is this one of that, should you really be in the business that you're in? Right? Like that to me, I don't think there's anything right now more important when it comes in topics of conversations when I'm having with prospective clients is that reality of, should you be in the business that you're in right now? Do you want to be in the business that you're in right now? Because the amount of people that, that I talk to, that they have no idea where they want to go to start with, right? They got no idea. They got no vision. They got no sort of, don't even know where in 12 months, 24 months, 5 years, 10 years this thing wants to go, which can show signs of, well, if you're not forward thinking, you don't really know where it goes. How much passion, purpose do you really have locked into this thing that you're trying to do right now, right? And of course, with Claxon and our agencies, we offer done for you, digital growth services. So paid advertising, all return on investment generating tasks.
Yeah.
But we get people coming to us go, I need help with my marketing. I'm like, no, you don't. You need help with rediscovering if this is the business you should be in. Because we're just going to strap a NOS canister to your Toyota Hiace van and it's going to blow up. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so that's for me is a narrative I've been having for, this is probably the last few months. And I feel compelled to be talking about and sharing it because, and I actually learnt this sort of come to me, early days of speaking with you guys at the Entourage, where I have a couple of hundred people in a room, and I'm talking about you might get me in to talk about what I'm doing with Facebook advertising at the time, but then at the end of it, my goal is to realize that I'm not here to teach you how to do Facebook advertising. I'd rather you walk away going, oh my God, I'm so excited that Facebook advertising is exactly what I need to do right now to grow this thing that I have, or oh, fuck, wait on, I'm not going to waste another cent in Facebook advertising because I need to go and do something else. There's this thing that I know I want to go and do. And the amount of people that have come up to me post workshops or events like that, and they've said, I've actually gone and changed my entire business model based off that, right? So for me, that's something that I am, taking on board as a narrative I want to be able to share more out there in the marketplace. What's the narrative that you're wanting to embed in business owner entrepreneurs' minds?
Yeah. Well, I think it all comes out of we are all creating something out of nothing. And so you have an opportunity to create whatever you want. And that's why, having a vision for your business and a mission that you fight for every day is so important because you got to motivate yourself, you got to motivate your team, you got to motivate your customers, you got to motivate everyone towards something. And so, with that comes, it's a slightly challenging concept for a lot of people because it's like, if the future of my business doesn't yet exist, then what is it? It's like, well, it's whatever you want to make it. And so it's probably, I think there's going to be two camps of people. There's going to be business owners who are like, no, I'm locked and loaded. Like this is the business I want to take forwards. There's a lot of challenges. I've got to change tack a bit, but I'm going to figure it out and go ahead. That's cool. Keep doing that. And then there's other ones that'll be like, I'm not sure. And I think the process there is then, well, first of all, like do some imagining of the future. Like actually think like, all right, if I was to get, do my deathbed all the way down, we're all going to live to like 150. So when you get to 150 and you're like, what was the impact I made and was it all worth it? Like, what is that? What do you want that to be? And are you on the path towards that? And if you're like, well, yeah, I'm on the path. I've made a baby step. It's like, right, well, how do you evolve your business, innovate your business to take a further step towards that ultimate vision that you hold for your business and your life? If though, on the other hand, you're like, no, my vision is to, make an impact in the world, in a market or a geography or an area that you're not actually anything related to, and your business isn't even vaguely pointed towards that, then maybe it is a fantastic opportunity to change that. And like you said earlier, there's not much of a better time, right? If you're going to sunset one organization, one business and Phoenix up, another, it's like through this period, that's a great. You're not going to have the same opportunity. Fingers crossed.
Well, even to that point, just to add something there is, it's not even necessarily about leaving or shutting down your business or selling your business. It's like you might have the optics to go and create another one. You might go and find a co-founder who so it's in the middle of COVID, we created another agency, right? So we've got two agencies that we're running now, and that would never have happened unless it was for COVID, right? Now with Klaxon, we'd never really been able to support the entry-level small business one-man band shops, right, or businesses, because of the scale of work that we do. Just the cost, it just wasn't even, doesn't make sense. To now, we're able to support all businesses from that real early start SME all the way through to the large corporate entities, global businesses, and that was an opportunity that came out. We didn't shut one down to start another one, right? Which then we get into the conversation of going, the one thing you should be working on, the one thing, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Try telling that to a visionary entrepreneur, though.
Well, exactly. It depends on whether you have the people running the previous businesses. I am actually quite a big advocate of. We do have a lot of members in the programs that have multiple businesses.
Yeah.
But I'm a big advocate of saying, how do you figure out how to keep at least one of them, the foundational one, running fairly autonomously without you?
Yep.
In which case you need to put in the integrator infrastructure.
Yep.
You need someone that can run it. You can't just kind of like boot out of there and expect it to keep going. The current environment, there is so much. I mean, there's a lot of great talent out there. Like there's a lot of, in times of economic hardship, the number of people looking to get into entrepreneurial ventures or having to get into entrepreneurial ventures skyrockets. We're hiring a lot of roles at the moment at the Entourage, and there's people that we're interviewing that we just absolutely wouldn't have even had access to before COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you wanted to be starting something new, there's a lot of really, really smart people out there that are probably looking for their next thing as well.
Yeah, that's right. And for my fellow entrepreneurs listening, that the visionary entrepreneur at heart is, you don't have to be the person doing it all as well. That's the magical thing here.
Visionary entrepreneurs should not be.
No, you shouldn't be. Get out of the way.
That's yeah. Well, I mean,
but a lot of them feel compelled because they're like, well, I should do it because I started. It's my baby, and I also want to, I want to have the CEO title, and it feels good, and and they're not seeing it for what it really is. They feel that they have to be the CEO because Mark Zuckerberg's the CEO of Facebook, right? Clearly, Mark Zuckerberg's an anomaly, but
he's definitely an anomaly. Like most other really successful entrepreneurial businesses have a team, and they'll have the visionary founder often, but then they'll have either one key integrator or a team of integrators that are making it happen, and that's where you really get the momentum going.
How soon do you think? Like, what's your advice to your students? How soon should they find an integrator like that? That let's say I go and start a brand new. Well, I'd probably do it a bit differently right now. I'd just hire an integrator to come straight in immediately. But for some,
on your resources.
Correct. Yeah. So let's say you are limited resources, but you're in a lot of hypotheticals here. But other than soon as possible, when do you normally recommend finding an integrator for you to step out of the operational component and bring someone in at that either general manager role?
Yeah. Well, we actually talk about there being like baby integrators, right? You don't need to be hiring a COO or a GM as your first integrator. You might just start with a VA or a PA or an executive assistant or an operations person. Like that might be where you start off in terms of having an integrator. The key thing though with the more junior integrator levels is you've got to coach them on what they need to do. And most visionaries don't like doing that.
And they don't know how as well.
And they hate the detail. So generally we talk about the journey, right? So for our members in the Accelerate program, which is 6-figure business owners wanting to get to 7, it's generally like 2 or 3 people in the business, the founder, and really what they're focused on at that point is marketing and sales most of the time. And when you're at that point and you're trying to increase revenue, that is still a founder-led game a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only when you kind of starting to get the top of that range, like maybe getting close to like $1 million revenue, that there might be enough in there to actually kind of hire someone on a permanent basis, an operations project manager or an operations coordinator or something like that. For Elevate, which is for more established businesses, like most of them doing like $4, $5, $6 million, even up to like 20. I mean, most of those people join the Entourage because they've hit what I call the 7-year slump. It might be 5 years, might be 10 years, but it's around that point where it's like founder, established the business, they've got it up to like 10, 15 people, maybe $4, $5 million revenue, but the founder is still inextricably linked to every single part of the business. Like they got their finger in each part of the pie, and they feel, this is like the most common thing they say is like, I feel like when I turn my attention from one part of the business to another, falls in a heap.
Yep.
And it has, because they've generally got like junior level people in each area, because as you're building the business, that's all you can afford to hire.
Yeah.
And so they just don't have the kind of capability, the leadership capability, the level of thinking yet. A lot of them might grow into that to really take responsibility for each of their areas. So the option there is either hire or purposefully groom a more senior person in each function of your business.